Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is Samantha, the host of Random Acts of Self, a podcast all about you and me and the things that we need to do to keep ourselves closer to our place of happiness. So today, we're going to talk about cannot and should not. And I'm not talking about those times when we give ourselves that message. I'm talking about the times when other people give us that message. Have you ever been talking to a friend or family member or just anybody and said, I want to do this, I want to try that. I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. And they're like, oh, nah, you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. I don't know about you and how you handle that situation, but I've learned to go, challenge accepted. I'm kind of hard-headed that way. But the question that you should first ask is, says who? Says you? Well, why? Maybe this person's telling you that you can't do something because they couldn't do it, or because they're afraid of something like that in their own life, or they think it's statistically unlikely. So what? Says who? Question that. Why are you telling me that? Says who? Who wrote that down? Where's that written down? What is their agenda? What is the filter through which they're saying that? Did they do it and they failed? Are they afraid to take on new challenges in life or try new things? Maybe what they're doing is projecting their own fears onto you. So that's the first question you can ask. Says who? Says you? Why? Let them explain themselves. A lot of the times you'll find that they don't have a really good reason, at least not a reason that's good enough that it should stop you. And then when somebody says you can't do that, well, has anybody else done it? You can't be a rapper. Can't be a famous basketball player or sports figure. You can't be rich. Well, somebody's done it. Why not me? I told that to my sister once. I told her, somebody's got to do this and be great and inspire others. Why not you? You're as good as anybody else. You're as skilled as anybody else. And if you're not, you can get there. Why not you? Think about that. Why not you? And then there's also, are you telling me I shouldn't do this because it'll land me in jail? You shouldn't punch that person in the mouth. It'll land you in jail. That might be a pretty good reason. Is it going to harm you or somebody else? Or do they know something about your situation that you don't know? Is this a person that has knowledge that you don't know and that they can guarantee that outcome? Well, in that case, you might want to rethink about it, but we're not talking about those types of situations. If you're not going to go to jail, you're not harming yourself or others, no risk of death, you're not going to lose people that matter enough to you that would be a deterrent, then why not? Why shouldn't you do it? The same way you ask a person, why can't I do it? Why shouldn't I do it? Tell me more about that. Oh, I shouldn't wear that dress because it won't look good on me? Says who? It's not going to cause any harm. Do it. Enjoy yourself. Does somebody say that you can't do that because you don't know how? That's okay. You can say, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a brain surgeon. I'm going to be a famous brain surgeon. Oh, you can't do that. Why not? Well, you don't know anything about medicine. Yeah, but I can go to school and learn. I can go to college. I can become a doctor. Why not? Oh, you can't break this world record. Well, why not? Well, because you don't know how to do that thing, but I can learn. And learning how to do something doesn't necessarily require college or even money for that matter. You go on YouTube or what they call massive online learning centers. It's schools and people that give away free information to teach you all kinds of stuff just because they like to, because they want you to have that ability as well. So you don't necessarily have to hire some expensive tutor or coach. You don't necessarily have to go to college. It depends on what you want to do. Now, if you want to be a brain surgeon, yeah, you got to go to college. But for a lot of things, there's a way around that. You don't have to take those routes. There's so many ways to gain the skills that you need Sometimes, you start out anyway. It doesn't matter that you don't learn yet. You can learn along the way. And I'll tell you that no matter how many things that you do to get training or education, training and education can't teach you everything you know. Experience will also teach you things you know. So it's okay to learn along the way. No big deal. Just because you don't know it yet doesn't mean you can't. So that shouldn't hinder you from trying. Are the people afraid that you're going to fail? Well, first of all, thanks for the confidence, jerk face. But so what if you fail? Who cares? People fail at stuff all the time. Sometimes people have to fail a lot of times before they're successful. Who cares? That doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't make you a failure in general. It might mean that you have to learn something or go about it a different way, or maybe the timing's not right. You just got to keep plugging on until you get it. Let people fear that you'll fail. It's your life, not theirs. A lot of times when people are afraid you'll fail, it's because they feel that they would fail. Or, maybe someone else they knew failed at it. That's when we go back to, has anyone else done it? Yeah. So why not you? And you know what? Even if nobody else has done it, what do you think a world record is? There had to be a first person to do everything. If you want to do it, do it. Don't let people convince you that you will fail. Who are they? Are they an expert? Are they a psychic fortune teller that knows your future? Fuck no. So what if you fail? Find a different way to do it. Who cares? And if you fail, you might realize, I didn't want to do that thing anyway. That's okay too. Don't be afraid of failure. And don't let other people's fear of failure rub off on you. This is a big one. And I see it far too often, especially with parents talking to kids. You can't do this, you can't do that. Well, statistically speaking, maybe a lot of people don't do it, but that doesn't mean you can't. Maybe they couldn't do it. Doesn't mean that you can't. Maybe no one's ever done it. Doesn't mean that you can't. See what I'm saying? Don't let other people convince you that you will fail. Only you know what you can do. And sometimes you don't know what you can do until you try. Sometimes you have to be under the fire, before you realize, I can do this. I'm actually really good at this. It's happened to me a number of times in my life, and it's happened to me over things that I really didn't think I'd be very good at, to be honest with you. Kind of surprised myself. So don't let other people determine your fate. And next is, are people telling you can't do something or you should not do something because they want you to be a certain way? Do they want you to be like them? Do they want you to grow up and follow their path, or the path that they think that people should take, or the path that society tells you should take, the American dream or whatever? You don't have to do that. You don't have to be the person other people want you to be. You're under no obligation for that whatsoever. And here's the thing. Some people might be afraid to lose you. And so they might tell you, oh, well, you can't do that and you shouldn't do that. Because if you sprout wings and you fly off into successful whatever it is you're doing, maybe they're afraid that you'll forget who they are or leave them behind. Maybe they're afraid that they won't be able to keep up with you. Maybe they are just control freaks and they just want you to do what they want you to do because they think they know what's best for you. You know what? Nobody knows what's best for you. You know what's best for you. Throughout my life, there have been a number of people who seem to know or seem to think they knew what was best for me. And guess what? If I would have listened to any of those people, I would not be where I am. I probably wouldn't be happy, and I'd probably be faking my way through life. I'm the expert on myself, and you're the expert on yourself because you know your feelings. You are inside your head. You think the thoughts that nobody gets to hear and see. You are the expert on yourself. Nobody knows what's best for you. And some people will flat out tell you that they know what's best for you. Nope. No, they don't. So when somebody else is telling you, oh, you can't do that or you shouldn't do that, and it seems like they're trying to shape you into something, Ask yourself, what do I want? What do I want? I want to do what I want, and I want to try. I want to at least try this idea that I have, this thing that I want to do. And sometimes, and I've heard a lot of stories about this from very successful people who were told by important people in their lives, parents, teachers, college professors, you can't do that. You'll never be a great artist. You're a horrible musician. You can't sing. And yet here they are making millions of dollars doing the thing they love because they didn't listen. You are not obligated to be the person other people want you to be. You're only obligated to be the person that you want to be. And, people that when you share, oh, this is my dream, and they say, oh, you shouldn't go after your dream. You should get a 9-to-5 job and you should do this and you should do that. The typical what everybody should do kind of thing. Well, ask yourself, and maybe even ask them, did they go after their dream? People that went after their dream and succeeded will always, or almost always, tell you to go after your dream. People that went after their dream and failed, it depends on the outcome. If the outcome was miserable, they'll probably warn you away from it. But again, they're projecting their life onto yours. People who had a good time trying, even though it didn't quite, go where they wanted it to go, they'll probably tell you, yeah, try it, give it a shot. The people that never bothered to go after their dream because they were too afraid, or maybe somebody told them that they couldn't or shouldn't, they're likely to pass that on to you. They're likely to regurgitate that same thing. That might be why they're saying it. So always consider the source of the information, and do that for any information that you get, but especially in this case. Remember, there's no user manual for life. When you buy a car and you have the user manual and it tells you what kind of oil to use and what kind of gas to use and how often to change your oil, you don't come with that. You know why? Because there isn't one. There's no one right answer. The answer that's right for you in this situation may not be the same answer that is right for me in this situation. We might be two totally different people with two perspectives and things like that. There's lots of right answers. There's lots of wrong answers, but there's no wrong answer that's wrong for everybody. And there's no right answer that's right for everybody, because we're all individuals. There's no user manual for life. There's no how-to book. So guess what? You know what this means? It means that you get to create your own. How cool is that? You get to decide what works for you. You get to decide what your values are and what you're capable of and what you're willing to risk to do whatever it is that you want to do. This is your life. I read a quote or heard a quote. I was watching a reality show, which I don't usually do. And I was watching this reality show called Bling Empire, and there's this lady on there named Anna Shea, and she says, "This is not a dress rehearsal. You have to live your life." And I felt that so hard. That resonated so deeply with me. When you get to the end of your life, do you want to look back and think about all the things you wanted to try and you didn't? Or would you rather look back and go, I did a lot of really cool stuff. Some of it worked, some of it didn't, but at least I tried. And the sense of self-efficacy and joy that you will give yourself by just trying something is worth more than anything else. So, all the cannot people and all the should not people, I'm not saying don't listen. Hear them out. You shouldn't stick your finger in a light socket. There's a pretty good reason behind that one. That's one you might want to listen to. But when that's not the case, you'll find that a lot of the people telling you you cannot do something or that you should not do something aren't really basing that information on anything solid. There's no statistics saying that 100% of the people that do this fail. And if there's somebody else that has done it or is doing it, then why not you? That's a really important question to ask yourself. Well, not a question, a statement. Why not me? Why not me? Go after it. Chase your dream. Do that thing you want to do. Let yourself explore life. If you fail, so what? Do something else. Who cares? We all fail. I can't count how many times I've done it. But you know what? Every time I come out smarter and better, and I know what I want out of life more, I know what I want from people more, I'm just better all around for it. And if people around you are perpetually negative, by all means, if you can, get those people out of your life, or at the very least, just stop listening to them. Stop listening. Because there are some people that they're on a level where they're never going to exceed that level. And they don't want to watch the people around them rise above that level, because then it reminds them that they're failing in life, or they're not living up to their goals or expectations. And sometimes it's easier to keep you down on the lower level with them than it is to watch you rise and then challenge themselves to make the changes necessary for them to do what they want to do in life. Don't let somebody be that weight that holds you down. You got this. All right. I hope this helps. I hope it motivates you. And I'll see y'all next time.